This is Wes Hoffman, and you're listening to Rock Paper Podcast.
Rock Paper Podcast.
Scissors beat paper, paper covers rock. Rock beats scissors, Shane covers non-stop. Never know what new kind of guest that he's got coming at you. Live and direct on the spot. Could be rock, folk, country, or hip-hop, jazz. All kind of folks that he has. Could be an artist or a comedian to make you laugh on the
Rock Paper Podcast.
double-decker fudge round, rolling round town. Shane coming at you live and direct from ground zero. He's your hero, he's your bestie. Rock Paper Podcast with Shane Presley.
Rock Paper Podcast.
Hey everybody, Shane Presley here, Rock Paper Podcast, coming to you from St. Louis, Missouri, hanging out today with Wes Hoffman. Welcome back to the show, my friend.
What is up, Shane? Thanks so much for having me, dude.
Yeah, for sure. This is, man, I didn't realize, I get to do it going. We both start living life. You kind of forget about time sometimes. And then but I just pulled it up and looked at your last appearance was on this show almost exactly 3 years ago. So
Yeah,
pretty crazy to think about that it's been that long already.
it's so crazy to think about, man. And a lot of things have happened in probably both of our lives, I'm sure, but just on a global scale as well. It's a lot of things have changed in those last 3 years. So
I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, is there like a pandemic going on or something out there?
Oh, I don't know. I thought I heard something about that.
Weird times, man, for sure. But yeah, that's kind of why we're doing it here over Zoom. But also in St. Louis today, there happens to be like this crazy blizzard, and it's 0 degrees and everything else. It's just made sense to stay indoors today and just do this one over Zoom.
Yeah, absolutely. Winter is definitely here for sure. So
Right. Yeah, anybody that was crying about not having winter yet, here you go. Like,
yeah.
so,
Here's your snow.
all right. But yeah, man, I'm excited to be here with you today and catching up. And obviously, we got a lot going on for you as far as music. You are now ramping up to release some brand new tunes, a new single on the way, and a new music video, and so I definitely want to get into that.
Yeah, for sure.
So let's kind of get into it, man. Like, what I guess this is obviously we're talking about What's Left of Me would do out March 5th worldwide, wherever you get your digital music at. But this was cool to hear that you were working on some brand new tunes. I think the last time we spoke was you were kind of debuting this project, and so now we're getting around to some new music and new video and all that. So kind of went into recording this song.
Yeah, man, for sure. Well, first of all, I just want to say thank you, Shane, for what, and I totally want to tell. There's stories. There's a lot behind the song and what I've been doing over the last couple of years. But I just want to say thanks to you for doing what you do. And I kind of mentioned it when I reached out to you that I think what you do is really important to not only the music scene in St. Louis, but just music in general. I know that you're branching out now and having a lot of people outside of St. Louis and kind of getting some national attention. And, I think that, it's really just what people like you do is really is just as important to music as the music, telling people about it and everybody that I know so many people who've been on your show. And I just think it's so awesome that you are such a good person to like bring St. Louis music together of all genres. I play punk rock, but I know you have all kinds of different music on and comedians and stuff like that. And it's so cool. You pop up in my feed from other people's, I've never met Meredith Hopping, but I follow her on Instagram. You pop up in her feed. You're popping up in like Dan Johanning's feed, and all these people. And it's just really, really cool to have a person like, doing something like this and sharing St. Louis music. So first and foremost, I just wanted to tell you, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Yeah, man. I mean, I'm trying to expand a little bit this year. Just seeing what happens with, but I ultimately, my love here is St. Louis music, and I believe in it. We have incredible music here in town, and the world-class talent, and but it's just kind of fun to start. Theoretically, my goal is, if I have I have recorded with Brian from Lucero and whatever, these different people, and I'm hoping that people like me enough or the show enough where they will take a deep dive through some of the back catalog and discover some other great St. Louis music along with me, and that doesn't even have to, they don't even have to know it's from St. Louis. It just that's the thing. These people can, this music can be enjoyed wherever. I think it's and then it's about time we start kind of getting out of St. Louis and some, hopefully turn some people on to what we're doing here in town and so that's the goal. I don't know. It might be a kind of a lofty goal, but that maybe, but because I know how I am sometimes with podcasts, I'll scroll through and I'll pick the ones that the people I like and stuff. I don't always listen to every one, but
sure.
But hopefully, I'm hoping that people are discovering other great music along with me and stuff, because that's the fun of it, man. That's why I keep doing it. I love talking about new music and stuff coming out.
Yeah, for sure. And I bet it's I bet so many different musicians and bands and stuff in St. Louis that I've probably never heard of. It's probably just fun. It's a good discovery tool and a good way to connect, as a person who's done a podcast as well. It's a good way to just connect with people.
Yeah, for definitely.
Make a lot of friends.
I talk about it a lot, how it's it's just a great networking tool. It's essentially, having a podcast is a great icebreaker, because it doesn't come off as creepy as hey, you guys want to hang out for an hour and talk? It's
yeah.
It's just, have it when you have a show, it's just a good foot in the door. It's people take you a little more, serious. So
for sure.
But yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of fun with it.
To answer your question, because this is what I do. I get way off track, but I wanted to just stress that, I appreciate you and I appreciate you having me on. But to go back to the recording and stuff like that, I had put out, back when I was on your show 3 years ago, I was just I had played music all growing up, and I was in bands and in the punk scene. I played in the Creepy Crawl a lot when I was a kid, and played at places like the High Point, and I wanted to kind of get back to that, back to my roots of playing, old school punk, maybe not old school punk, but that 90s style, Fat Records style punk. And that was when I started this project, which was it's just under my name, Wes Hoffman. And now we've kind of expanded that to Wes Hoffman and Friends. But I hadn't done too much in between that podcast that I did with you in 2018 and now. And I put out one song. We played a couple shows. We went to Kansas City. We played a show. We played several shows here in St. Louis in 2019. And then when the pandemic hit in 2020, all the things that I wanted to do last year were kind of, stymied because of there were no shows. I had all these grand plans. I wanted to record. I wanted to do a little weekend tour. I wanted to play a really good show here in St. Louis. We had a show booked at the Sinkhole that never happened. And so then I kind of shifted in the middle of the year, and I was like, I really want to record some songs and get a good proper recording. And I've had a practice space at Encapsulated now for a little over 5 years now. And I was like, I saw Gabe Usery. Do you know Gabe?
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
sure he's probably been on your show 10 times.
Yeah. We, I think it's actually maybe only once, maybe, I think, with a Disappeared.
Okay. Yeah.
And but we've definitely talked about him on all sorts of episodes, because all the music that he does record. So
yeah. Great. He's a great guy, a great dude. Yeah. And I saw him walking in and one day, and I was like, hey, would you be down to record me? And he was like, yeah, just shoot me an email and we'll talk about it. And, I booked a date with him, and I really started hitting hard. I wanted to just do 2 songs. So, and I went through a lot personally over this time as well, 2019, 2020. Separated from my wife, going through a divorce, moved back into the city. I used to live in Collinsville, and I moved back into the city. I got a new job. I kind of stopped doing my self-employed business and stuff like that. So I was going through some major life changes, and that's kind of what this song is about. What's left of me is, when you go through some tough shit and you go through these big life changes and you get through the other side, it's kind of like, okay, I can finally see what's left of me, which is like one of the big lyrics of the song. And I really wanted to kind of put my heart and soul into this. And prior to this, my tagline was Wes Hoffman, positive punk. And I'm still a very positive person, but I really wanted to kind of like bring back into more of this authenticity and like the passion and emotion into this music, life's not always positive. You can always try to look at the bright side. You seem like a really positive person, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know, but it's not always great. It's not always great. There's tough shit in life, you know?
Yeah. No, I mean, I totally connect. I mean, like I do my best to keep on smiling, but you know, there's definitely those days where life can get to you. You know, it's like, you know, between, you know, everybody's feeling it for sure with 2020. Not, you know, I don't get to, you know, see all my friends, the live music and stuff. Like that was a huge part of my life, and for that to be taken away, just like artists that are touring or, you know, or anything else, like, you know, it's like when a big chunk of your life is put on hold, like it's hard to you know, be your same self. So and then but yeah, I agree. Other than that, like I do my best to be as positive as I can. I try to you know, block out all the negative stuff that on Facebook and the news and everything else or whatever. It's just like life's too short for all that stuff.
Absolutely, man. I totally agree. And like, you know, I'm the same. I try not to gravitate towards the negativity. Like I don't try to turn a blind eye to reality, you know, that there's shitty things happening in the world, but I try to like steer clear of people who complain and, you know, are always looking for a reason, you know, looking for something that's negative to kind of like focus on, you know.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, that really, I felt like I owed it to myself after going through all that. You know, now it's a year later that all this happened, and I felt like I owed it to myself to record these songs. And I recorded. So one of my best friends, Justin Untersay. I don't know if you maybe know him. He's been in a lot of bands. He's maybe been on your podcast with another band before, but he played drums and he recorded a few songs for me. You know, we recorded a few songs together like earlier on in the process. He played drums and then I played everything else. I played bass, guitars, did all the vocals, and I've always wanted to do that. And so I spent all day Saturday and all day Sunday at Encapsulated Studios working with Gabe, and you know, we ordered pizza and we just hunkered down and got it done, and it was a super smooth recording process. And but both of these songs that I'm going to release soon are very personal, and it's definitely a change in direction for sure. And I'm really, really excited to kind of just put them out to the world.
Yeah. Well, you gave me a little advanced sneak peek, and like I would definitely feel like prior, you know, compared to what you previously released, it's definitely feels a lot more polished and professional recording of it all. It definitely feels more aggressive, you know, and like, so as you're telling that story, I'm like, oh, well, that all makes sense. There's a lot of kind of pent up aggression and, you know, hate, you know, just anger, you know, kind of like from as things are not going quite as, you know, like you wanted to and stuff. So it's but I like it. Like it was not that it's like, you know, very drastic difference compared to what you were putting out, but I definitely could hear a more you know, refined sound to what you were doing on this new recording. So
Yeah. Thank you, man. I really appreciate that. I really kind of, even just the musicianship, I wanted it to be a little bit, you know, I've been playing guitar for a long time. And since I mean, God, I'm going to be 38 in a couple weeks. And so I've been playing guitar for off and on for 25 years, you know, and
right.
Like, I'd like to think that, you know, I did take a pretty long break in there where I wasn't taking it super serious at all. And my guitar just kind of collected dust in the corner for a while. But, you know, I've really spent a lot of time just by myself in my studio, practicing and working on just being a better musician and songwriter and stuff. So I'm glad that that's kind of shining through. And to your point too, like, you know, the song is a little bit more aggressive, that one in particular, but how aggressive, maybe like for me, like writing songs now at this point in my life is, and in the past too, but especially now, it's definitely like an emotional process. It's a cathartic, like I have probably 25 demos in my Dropbox that will never be published and finished as songs and recorded in like, a proper studio. But for me, just to go down there and like create is like a very, if I don't do that in a few days, I start feeling like, okay, I need to go spend some time in my studio for a few hours and screw around, and that makes me, it's like something that's so much a part of me now that like I can't not do it.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I'm I don't have that creative side as far as creating music, but for me it's the podcast. This is my outlet, and I'm the same way. Like if I don't get to doing the show for a week or two, like sometimes it's nice to take a break, step away, but if it's more than too long, I start getting a little grouchy or something. It's just like you need your time to get in there and have some fun and stuff. So it's nice to have that, whatever it happens to be. For you, it's getting in there and playing guitar and everything else. So it's nice when you have that thing that is your time to create.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I think that these songs for sure have been that for me. Is it was like it's just therapeutic. It's like I need to go do that and let that out, and it's really helped me a lot. And so now I'm really just excited to share it with other people. And and it's not like I mean, I do have goals with this project, but it's not like, or I have things that I want to happen that I'm like working towards, but it's also not, there is a certain part about it that's more about the art. Like if I put this out and no one listens to it, which I know people will, like, I'm gonna, my friends at least will, but like, if you put it out and no one listens to it, like at least it's like, if you did your podcast and you didn't put it out, like, even just doing it is so, like just creating the song is so, and
Sure.
or just creating the podcast, that in and of itself is like, just doing it for the sake of creating is so powerful in and of itself.
Yeah, man. So what, I mean, we don't have it ready to share yet, but as far as, you and Gabe working together, I mean, is this, is this pretty close to what the vision was whenever you went in there, or did Gabe really like push it as a producer to like, maybe you should try this thing or whatever?
Yeah. I mean, that's a great question. I loved working with Gabe. I know so many people. I mean, he's already in so many different bands, but I know so many people that had worked with him, and he did push me and Justin both quite a bit, like on the instruments, like, hey, I think you can do it a little bit better here. I mean, I practiced my ass off before I went in there because I wanted it to go smooth, but he did have some really cool ideas. And, I would say from the time that he gave me the rough mixes, like, so when I walked out of there, he gave me a couple rough mixes of the vocals and the guitars. And then when he mixed and mastered it, it sounded so much better. So, in the same way that like, I feel like people like yourself, music is so much bigger than just the musician or the song. Like so many people have helped with this project. Yourself, I'm on this podcast now. I'm going to be talking to some other people about, doing some more like promotional stuff. But then there's also Gabe, and then there's Justin, and there's Freddy who did the video, and we filmed it at Off Broadway, and so many people that kind of like have a hand in that are important, that have a hand in like helping with this kind of stuff and making it more than just me. So yeah, I mean, Gabe really, I'm not the type of person, I'm not a really big like gearhead with music and guitar stuff. Like I just like to, if somebody plays something and it sounds good, I'm like, oh, that sounds good. I'm not like I'm not a really big like pedal person. I don't use a lot of effects in pedals. I like distortion, a little bit of gain, little distortion, and clean channel. And that's all I really need. And I have a Fender amp and it sounds great. And so Gabe really helped me kind of get my guitar sound down really well. That was one thing is I'm in love with the guitar tones on the album. And that was all Gabe. And so yeah, he kind of filled in the spaces, you know. I had demoed out the songs and stuff on GarageBand, but he really kind of, you know, I'm really glad that I enlisted his help on this one. So, because he made me sound good.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I really enjoyed it. What I heard, and it was fun. You know, like, you know, you're doing when I was saying aggressive. I don't necessarily like, not like. But I feel like there's some more like screaming kind of vocal parts.
Sure.
And then like you background saying you know, over your own stuff too. And so layered in some vocals there and stuff. But I just felt like, you know, it's definitely going to be one when you get a chance to play it in front of an audience. I think the crowd's going to respond more to getting a little more headbanging in there and stuff, and getting a little more one to jumping around and get rowdy with you and stuff. It feels like could be a good one to get people moving.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's something that that was intentional as well, as I wanted all these songs. My best friend Jacob, who plays bass with me when we play live, like we were in bands together when we were kids, and we always wanted to add in different parts where we could jump around on stage, because we liked, when we watched bands, we always loved seeing a good stage presence. You know what I mean? And kind of commanding that attention and that crowd to like get into the music and into the song. And so, you know, on this song in particular, there's a part in the middle that's really gets people, that we wanted to kind of really, hey, this will be a part where we can really jump around and rock out. And I would be very surprised if people, even if there was one person in the crowd, if they were not getting into it in that one part, you know. And then also doing the video, we capture that quite well in the video as well, is the energy of the band. And
I saw some stills you shared on social media, and like getting the rock jumps in there and stuff. And
oh hell yeah,
yeah.
There's a lot of punk jumps in this. This video, so
yeah, I'm excited, man. And then Freddy D'Angelo, if he's a very talented videographer, and he's been a good friend of the show. And but yeah, it was cool to see you two were working together and creating this.
Oh yeah, I love Freddy. He's another one of those super positive people, like ourselves. And yeah, I mean, he was so much fun to work with, and he and I talked several times on the phone before we even got there. And you know, we haven't been able to play a show like for a year now.
Right.
So I really wanted to do it at a music venue, and I called around to a couple places, and you know, of course there's costs involved with these things, but I was like, I really think doing it off Broadway will be really cool. And you know, and we got to play actually like on the stage, and I've never played a show at off Broadway, but like we played on the stage live a couple of times. We played the song through, and that felt really nice. Like even just walking into a music venue after not being in one for a year,
right,
was like just this feeling kind of came over me, like, oh my God, I'm home. Like this is so great, you know. And I mean, when I was doing my Strangehouse podcast, I was in, I mean, multiple times a week. I'm sure like yourself, you know, like I go to a lot of shows, especially punk shows, and like multiple times a week I would be at a show. And like now, you know, being out of that, it's tough, but because that's like, you know, you go to shows and you connect with people and you see people that you only see at shows. And when that's gone, you're like, oh, you know, I wonder what's going on with so-and-so. And, you know, just that environment, there's a certain amount of, I'm a big believer in energy, and like, there's a certain amount of energy in those places where music is played, I think, you know, so I missed it for sure.
Yeah, man.
And I do miss it.
Yeah. But yeah, so the video, you're going to release the video March 3rd, and then worldwide on everywhere you get your digital music on March 5th. So keep an eye out for What's Left of Me hitting your Spotify's and everything here soon and stuff. But are you gonna? And you said there's another single shortly after that.
Yeah. So What's Left of Me, like you said, it'll be out on the video will be out March 3rd, and then the song will be out March 5th, and you can pre-save it on Spotify now. So if you go to my Instagram, I have a link up there that you can pre-save What's Left of Me, so that so that it comes up on your Spotify the day that it's released, and so you don't forget. And then I'm not sure when I'm going to release the second song yet. I'm probably thinking like the end of April or beginning of May. And then I really want to go back in the studio with Gabe and record 3 more songs. And at some point by the end of the year, put out these 2 singles and these 3 other songs as a 5-song EP.
Right
So that's kind of my plan by the end of the year, is probably early fall. That'll happen is the 5-song EP will be out. And then beyond that, I'm not sure yet.
Yeah.
More music for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, man. That's very cool. And then I'm sure, like you're saying, some of the stories you alluded to, with your relationship and everything, that I'm sure there's a lot of songs that kind of come out. I mean, I feel like that's like one of the biggest inspires, like to either heartbreak or falling in love. And so, like those can definitely fuel a lot of songs.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, man. And that's, it's not, I don't even know how to say it, kind of put it into words, but it's not necessarily like anger towards my ex-wife or anything like that. It's more of just like, hey, this is, the songs aren't particularly about a person. It's more about like I was saying, about getting the emotion out. And I would say that probably 4 out of these 5 songs, or at least 3 out of the 5 so far, 1 is still in the process of being written, are about that, just moving on with your life. And
right.
It's a huge inspiration for sure. Like,
sure. Yeah, man. Well, I'm excited to hear some more of it and hear what else you've been working on. You mentioned, I think earlier we said something about podcasting. You yourself, recording multiple podcasts, and I guess so. Strangehouse and Wes Hoffman and Friends.
Yeah,
the 2 big ones, right?
Yeah. So Strangehouse is no longer.
Right.
We've kind of wrapped that up, but for almost 4 years we were going pretty strong with that. And we started out with St. Louis based people, and then we morphed into kind of getting into the punk rock and metalcore world. We worked with Warped Tour for 1 summer. That was really fun. And then that kind of, it had ran its course. We were both just kind of, okay, this is over. This is done. But to echo your sentiment, like, I met some amazing people through that podcast. I have some amazing friends from all over the world now that I've had connected with. And then out of that, I had this business called Treehouse Network Shop. And I had originally been like doing some podcasting through that. It was called Treehouse Lifestyle. And at the beginning of 2018, I kind of changed that into Wes Hoffman with Friends. And and you've been a guest on that. And so, I really enjoyed that as well. Of just, I haven't put out an episode in maybe a month and a half, but I have one in the can right now. I just haven't. I've been so focused on this music stuff that I haven't had time. I haven't really just taken the time, but I still talk to some musicians and stuff through that, and mainly punk rock musicians. I just had a couple really cool bands on. You might like this band. They're called American Thrills, and they're kind of like a Gaslight Anthem. Menzingers type band.
Okay.
Yeah, they're kind of they have really cool guitar work. And then another band, Nominee. I had them both on in December, and that's been really fun. I've just connected through them. I knew the guys from Nominee. I played a show with them here a couple of years ago, but that's just a really cool way to. It's just a great. I love podcasting. Like it's a great way to just connect with people, um, and it's a great creative outlet too. If you like, in case you can't tell, I love to talk. So I've always just really enjoyed having conversations with people, and yeah. So tell me about like what are some of your favorite bands or favorite releases that have come out recently? I'm sure you probably know a lot of music or you listen to a lot.
Probably my favorite release so far this year is the new Lucero record. I've been listening to that a lot. Like really like started ramping up as I was getting ready to record with Brian. I wanted to kind of prepare, but I only had the leaked out like a sampler thing, like 3 singles, and then before the whole record came out. And so I had those songs, and I was just listening to those on repeat for like the week, and then the whole record came out, and it's a very solid album. And of course, I wouldn't expect anything less from Lucero. They're very good at what they do. But so anyway, I've been jamming that record a bunch, and yeah, I don't know, man. Locally, I know you just had him on the pod a while back too, but buddy Ryan Chaney
Ryan, yeah.
put out his EP, The Lion, and a very talented songwriter and himself. And that was I think some of his best work too in those songs. So
yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, it's cool to see him, a guy like Ryan Chaney. Like, some people might know him from Fivefold. Some people might know him from Steeples. And then so he's done like the hard rock thing. He's done, and of course Fivefold's kind of run the gamut of like a little bit of everything in their sound. But and then Steeples, like, this pop sound, and kind of dancey stuff. And then now he's doing his solo stuff that's like very Americana kind of, traditional songwriter, acoustic stuff. And but the Lion, like I felt had obviously a little bit more full band sound to it. But it's just really great to see him, like any kind of you just painting with all kinds of different colors and stuff, just like comes up with all these different things. And it's just really a lot of fun to see him work. And obviously being a friend of his, it makes me proud to watching this guy doing it, man, making all these different styles of music, trying to figure out what he wants to do. And but I feel like that's, so many people kind of get stuck like where they want to, I can only do this one thing. And so that's what, like, I find it really interesting about that Ryan's trying it all. Like, he's doing all kinds of different stuff, like not afraid to see what people think of this different sounds and stuff. So
yeah, absolutely. I listened to the day that he released that EP. I listened to the whole thing several times through, and I really like it a lot too. Yeah, and he's a great dude. I first met him at Floor Fest a couple of years ago, and he played an acoustic set, and it was great, man. It was really, really good. Yeah, and I agree with you. I've always kind of gravitated towards the music that I feel like is just kind of in my soul is punk rock. But I'm always big on like trying different kinds of styles. Like if I ever feel like I have that writer's block, and nothing new is coming out, I'll go, there's so much stuff on YouTube now. I'll learn a Jimi Hendrix solo or something by Eric Clapton, or even, a Black Sabbath or some kind of different style that I'm not used to, because it just helps you. And then before I know it, I'm like, oh shit, like I can incorporate this little riff into my own song. And I think you have to branch out a little bit, otherwise you're just kind of playing in the same sandbox.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ryan is a great example of that for sure.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Which, I I don't know, probably sold out by now, but he's got a show coming up on 25th, I think it is, Friday night at Red Flag, 26th. So yeah, come on, see Ryan.
Hell yeah.
It'll be a fun night. But yeah, I'm glad that I haven't been to Red Flag yet, but I'm excited to go check it out. But I know they're doing like a very limited capacity 100 ticket kind of thing, and temperature checks at the door, wear your mask, seated at all times. Like they're really strict on all of the rules because it's the only way they can keep in business. So
yeah.
But I'm excited to go there and take a look around. And but it's not going to be quite the same as your when there's 1,100 people in there and getting rowdy in the mosh pit and everything else. But hopefully we'll get that point one of these days. But it's going to be cool to be, like you're saying, back in a venue just to take it all in.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, man. I think I haven't been there yet either, but from the looks of photos that I've seen, it looks like a beautiful venue too.
Yeah.
It really, really looks cool. So my friend, do you know the band Sonic Candy?
I know the name, but I don't. I mean, I'm not like personally friends with anybody in the group. I don't think so.
Yeah. So my drummer, or the guy, I always feel weird to say my drummer, but like Justin, who plays drums with me, his wife is the lead singer of that band, and they've done a couple shows at Red Flag, and I've seen some pictures from his Facebook, and it just looks like a dope venue. Yeah. So I hope I get to play there someday.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Speaking of new venues, also, I don't know if you've been saw it, but there's another space opening in Chesterfield.
I did see that. I can't remember the name of it, but
I think like the Factory or something like that. Or
yeah, I did see that.
Something along those lines. But they just leaked out some pictures, and it looks super cool. Like, I mean, it's kind of a pageant-esque, type of theater setting and stuff in there. But so anyway, I'm excited about that. Like, I think some people, just like anything, everybody's got their own opinions, and usually there's some negativity towards it. But I know some people were complaining about, like when that one was announced, there was coming about, and then there's like the St. Louis Music Park and by River Report over there and stuff. And then, some people were like, that's why do we don't need another another music venue and stuff. And I'm like, I don't know. It was really hurtful to hear, especially for musicians, because I was like, you guys should be flattered that people want to put more venues in your community that maybe you're not playing at every one of these venues, but it's like, it's still exciting that there's enough going on where it creates a demand for more venues and, more acts coming through town and more people coming out to live shows and everything else. I mean, it's like, I don't know. I just feel like it's nothing but good. Like, there's more revenue in the city and everything else. And
I would agree. I would totally agree with you. And I think where we're kind of missing a little bit is in St. Louis is, you've got your places. I mean, you've got the really big venues like Riverport and, Chaffetz or Edward Jones or whatever, where the really big, like, national acts play. But, and then you've got your smaller Delmar Hall and the Pageant, which are still pretty big. But, we don't have, the thing that I really miss is when I was coming up was we had these, like the Creepy Crawl and the High Point where, these are 100-person, 200 people clubs, maybe.
Right.
300 at most. 300 would be like probably over capacity, but those were like perfect venues for me and the style of music that I play. And I love playing a show and, a place like the Sinkhole that holds 80 people, you get 50 people in there and it feels like it's sold out. Right. And I love that. I don't like, I absolutely love that. We played a show there, like, one of the last shows that we played was at the Sinkhole, and there was about 50 people there, and it felt awesome, and it was really, really cool. And I think that's where we're kind of like missing a little bit. But I agree with you. I think the more the better. There's all different kinds of music. There's I think as long as people, we just got to get people out to the shows,
Right.
like someday when things get a little bit better, I think we're going to see a boom of people going out in general. I think once we're able to all safely go back out into public on a regular basis, I think we're going to see a very big influx of people wanting to go out to eat, going to movies, going to shows, art galleries, because we've missed that for so long. I think
Right.
shows, even local shows, will do really well. Like, I think things are going to sell out. Like, yeah, I think we're going to see a boom, like.
Yeah, I agree. I think, yeah. But yeah, man, I think it's going to be, I'm excited to, I just feel like, man, like, I was just like so pumped about 2020 for all the concerts that were coming to town, and then like everything, obviously zero. And then like, so I just really hope that all of those that I was so excited about are coming back, but eventually we'll get there. But it's like, it's just kind of crazy to think about how that whole industry just went, from,
Yeah.
nothing to down to nothing. And so, but yeah, man, I don't know. I'm excited about more venues, more music,
Sure.
just getting out there and seeing my friends again. But yeah, I got a couple questions for you, Wes. I've been going around town asking
Okay.
some random questions, and these are always a lot of fun for me. But here's a new one I kind of inspired by a buddy of mine. But what would be like your dream dinner if you could have like invite like 4 guests or three or 4 guests over for dinner? Like just your dream conversations with these people and stuff. Who are some of those guests that you would like to have sit across the table from and stuff? And
Can they be alive or dead?
I'll allow it. I'll like either or.
Okay. John Lennon. I would love to just talk to him about music, but also his political, activism, and I think he's one of those people that we lost too soon. I'd probably say there's an author who's a spiritual teacher that I like a lot of his books. His name's Eckhart Tolle. I would probably invite him as well. I'd love to talk to him. I would probably have my girlfriend come over as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
And man, I'm trying to think of who else. I'd love to talk to Henry Rollins. He's a person that I've always I've tried to get him on my podcast a couple of times. He's always emailed back, but he's always said no. He's couldn't do it.
Well, at least you get a response.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. I always appreciate it. Yeah, I think that's good. That's a pretty good mix.
That'd be a interesting dinner for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the other side of that I was listening to a Stern show the other day, and they had Foo Fighters on talking about their new record, and
Oh, hell yeah.
and Dave was talking about getting to go to Paul McCartney's house for dinner, and was hanging out and stuff, and they were talking about how just like, I don't know, he was talking about songwriting, and then like he said, like he just got out of his head, like when he started like realizing he could just write fun songs, and he's like, not every song has to be Imagine, or whatever, like it doesn't have to be Let It Be, just those are great songs for a reason, but you don't have to, like, not every song has to be that, it can be whatever. And so he started talk about how he wrote more fun songs on this album and stuff. But the fun story, a part of that was him getting to hang with Paul, and he said he said something about they were all hanging around, like playing piano and stuff, and he said like Paul played, and then like they were like, Dave, why don't you get up here and play? He's like, oh, I don't play piano. And then Taylor Swift was at the party too, and Taylor got up there and started playing, and Dave's like, we maybe had smoked a smidge of marijuana, and like, and then Taylor starts playing, and she starts playing he's like, I think I recognize this song, and he's like, and then she's playing The Best of You, and he's like, you know, he's like, so he's so it was just funny, like he's like so stoned he didn't even recognize his own song that she's playing and stuff, and
that's hilarious.
But anyways, it was a great story, a great appearance, and yeah, those guys a whole lot of fun, man. That was a good chance to check out some of that they did a live performance of Mississippi Queen from Mountain on there, and that was really cool.
Yeah, I'll definitely check. I love the Foo Fighters.
Yeah,
you know, I've been a fan ever since high school, but I haven't checked out some of their new stuff. But I've heard heard one song I think off the new album, and I'm just a fan of Dave Grohl as a musician.
Sure, yeah. I think if I was gonna put a dream dinner together, he'd probably be one of those guys. I just feel like he's got great stories, and he's just funny and charismatic, and just seemed like a good hang.
Oh yeah, and I bet he has crazy stories from Nirvana all the way up to now. Like, I mean, just and to go, you know, to be a drummer and a music and a guitarist and a singer and a songwriter, like he's just like the full package.
Yeah. Well, he was saying on that show, he said something about him and Pat, and where sometimes those guys get together and they jam as Nirvana. So,
cool.
You know, so I don't know that it would ever lead to them, you know, like trying to do it again with a different singer or something, but like it's still cool that those guys still get out together and play music together and stuff. But he said that was like the biggest part about. He also told a crazy story about he got to play drums with Tom Petty on SNL years ago, and Tom offered him the job, like, hey, why don't you drum for the band? Let's go on the road. And he's like, he said he just, he couldn't do it. He said he would, make him too sad to be playing the drums and not have Kurt up front there and stuff. So like, that's why when he was doing Foo Fighters, it was a conscious effort to, play guitar and sing and stuff and not be the drummer. So I don't know. It's kind of, stinks that end, but it'd be also be very hard to lose your friend like that and stuff. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. No, that makes a lot. That's a really cool story though. Yeah.
I mean, it takes a lot to just say no to Tom Petty that, you're not going to, but yeah. But yeah, man. All right. All right. So, there's a Wes Hoffman action figure.
Oh yes.
All right. I'll let you either say, what would either be your pull string quotes or what, would be like your, accessories in your with your action figure.
Okay. Yeah, this is a good one. So I would love to have, I don't know if you remember, there was this cartoon called Silverhawks, and they had action figures, and there was this one Silverhawk that he looked like a cowboy, and he had an electric guitar. It was like a not a flying V, but that other one that had Dave Grohl kind of has a guitar like that. Like it's kind of this like I can't even remember Dean the manufacturer is Dean.
Okay.
They make the flying V, and it has this it's this real like triangular looking thing. So I'd want to have a guitar. I would want to throw in some nunchucks just because I loved Michelangelo from the Ninja Turtles as a kid.
There you go.
And then what else? Oh man, what's some? I don't know. Those two at least. At the very least, would be what I would want. Yeah, I can't think of anything else.
Let's what about the pizza or anything else maybe with the
I am a huge pizza, especially since I've moved in by myself. It's very easy to just throw a frozen pizza in the oven. So I am a huge pizza guy.
Full Michelangelo.
Yeah, also like Michelangelo. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe a boombox or something like that too. A video game controller, the guitar definitely has to be in there, and I feel like that's maybe a guitar that shoots a missile out of it or something like that.
That'd be Bebop, right? Bebop at the boombox, right?
Yes, that's right. I forgot about that.
Bebop and Rocksteady.
Yeah, Rocksteady and bebop, which I didn't realize. I mean, I knew that bebop was like a music genre, but I didn't realize till years later, because I was a kid, that Rocksteady is also a
Right.
music genre too. You know, like there's ska and reggae and Rocksteady and all that. You know, like it's in the same.
Yeah, man. Classic Ninja Turtles, man. That was I definitely spent a lot of hours watching Ninja Turtles.
Oh, me too.
All right. What's a song you wish you wrote?
Dude, I was actually, when you said Best of Me by Foo Fighters, when that song came out, that is, I mean, I've been a fan of them for a long time. I love Color and the Shape. That was like truly a masterpiece of an album, but I really, really love Best of Me. That is one of my favorite Foo Fighters songs. I would also say, this is going to be way outside the box for me because I'm such a punk rock dude, but I love the song Everybody Wants to Rule the World by Tears for Fears.
Oh, classic, man. So good.
Oh my God. I mean, when that song comes on, that is actually one of the first music videos that I ever saw as a kid too. I was probably 5 years old and that came on the old Channel 13. They had like a little block of music videos on a Saturday afternoon or something. And that song came on and I can remember it starts out with this dude driving a convertible and the camera comes down and that song for some reason is like, it's a beautiful song, but it also has like a little bit of a haunting melody to it, you know? I just really, really like that song too. So yeah, either of those probably.
Yeah, what would be a dream duet or collaboration you'd love to see for yourself?
I would love to do something with Billy Joe from Green Day. I think that would be really cool. So I would love to do a song with Mike Herrera from MXPX. There's a friend, she actually is a friend of mine. She's in this band called Bad Cop, and they're based out of LA. Her name's Stacy D, and she just has this cool, raspy, like punk voice. And I would love to do a song with her at some point too. So there's three. Non-punk, I mean, let me think. You're kind of getting outside the genre a little bit. I'd love to do something with like a, I don't know. I really like, this is kind of outside the box for me too. I really like some of Billie Eilish's stuff.
Okay.
You know, that might be kind of cool to be, I mean, that would stretch the limits musically a little bit for me. So
yeah, she's in one, like, I'm not like a super fan by any means, but like Stern has a way of like, he has these people on the show, these various artists. And I mean, it's happened with like Lady Gaga and, you know, whatever. There's been several of them that like they'll come on and I'm like, yeah, okay, I kind of know them a little bit from the radio. And then like they sit there and they have a conversation and sometimes they'll play live and different things. And I'm like, totally makes me even more of a fan, you know, like
sure.
Kind of show them in a different light sometimes than just their, especially with like a Lady Gaga, like a lot of the stuff on the radio is like super overproduced pop stuff. And then like when she played live on a show, it was just her and a piano. And I think same thing with Billy. She kind of came in and played with just like a real stripped down thing with her and her brother played keys and she sang. And so, yeah. You know, so it's like, it's fun when you kind of strip away some of the stuff and you get to show them as just an artist and you appreciate it a lot more.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I agree with you on that. There's been so many bands that like I've either had on my podcast or talked to them or heard them on a podcast or read an interview. And I'm like, oh, I think Billy was one of those. I was like, when she first kind of came on the scene, I read an interview with her and I was like, this girl is pretty smart. Like, you know, like I know she's a little weird. Like, you know, you like her vibe is kind of weird with like she has weird hair and like dresses, you know, different. But No, she's cool. She'd be a cool person to just have a conversation with. And I did think of one more person. I would love to do a duet with Laura Jane Grace from Against Me as well. So,
All right. Well, I'll put out some calls for you, and we'll see.
yeah, dude, if you could, that would be awesome.
What's a movie or TV show you wish you were in? Is there a certain world besides maybe the Ninja Turtles that you'd like to live in?
The first thing that came to mind was Boy Meets World.
Yeah.
I'd love to get a lesson from Mr. Feeney every day.
Yeah. Yeah. So you would just be another class member in the.
Yeah. You know, like I could picture myself hanging out with Corey and Sean and Eric, and I always had a huge crush on Topanga when I was growing up.
Yeah,
dude.
who didn't, man? She was such a babe. She still is.
She is. Yeah, she hasn't aged like you know, a bit since that show either. So
I think it's funny that those that stick with you, like obviously Topanga and Kelly Kapowski, and you know, it's like I still have a crush on the same couple of girls that I had you know when I was a young boy. So I was like, it's just funny how those stick with you.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
But yeah, that would be fun, man. And like, of course, Eric yelling Feeney all the time. That's
yes,
classic.
I love it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that was such a great show, man. And then like, I saw somebody, I forget what it was, what the occasion was, but I saw Feeney like talking about that, and then like they played the clip like the finale or whatever when he's like, you know, say class is dismissed and all that kind of or whatever. And
it's sad. It's a tearjerker, man.
Yeah, for sure. So like, but it like pulled me right back in. I'm like, I'm gonna watch this show and you know forever. And then like, you know, but it hits you right away every time. And so yeah, It's sad, man. Let's see, got one more for you. If when the day comes, we have a Wes Hoffman biopic, who would you like to see cast to play you in the movie version?
Oh, man, that's a good one. I don't know. Who are some of my favorite actors?
But do you ever get that he looked like somebody? Has that ever happened to you?
Yes. I'm trying to think of who people will tell me. I mean, when I was in high school, people told me that I look like Seth Green.
Oh yeah.
I think I've grown out of that now. But he would be a funny one.
Him and Can't Hardly Wait with the you know like the sunglasses and the goggles and.
Speaking of which, probably that dude who plays who Ethan Embry, who plays like the main character in that movie, he would probably be a good person to play me. I feel like, just because you know I feel like I was that dude in high school, kind of that like dorky indie rock kid. Like I really relate to like John Cryer, Ducky in.
All right.
You know, just that kind of I grew up in a small school, but I was like this punk rock kid that kind of dressed a little bit different than everybody. And I feel like nobody really understood me. You know, I still feel that way, but like, but probably somebody like that. That is really a tough one for me. I don't know why that's, usually I would have some kind of funny answer to that, but I can't come up with it right now. Right. There's not a lot of redheaded people out there. I don't know, maybe Ed Sheeran.
That's what I feel like with the Seth Green thing. Like, you know, I feel like he probably got a lot of that just because of the red hair. Like,
yeah.
So.
And I used to wear it kind of spiky like he did when he was in the Austin Powers movies and stuff. Yeah. So, and I dressed kind of like him too, but
yeah. He, man, my buddy Adam Ray and Brad Williams, they're comedians, do a show about last night, and they had Seth Green on, and I got Seth talking about some Family Guy stories and stuff.
Oh, that's awesome.
And he tells one of my absolute favorite stories where at like how the he developed the voice for Chris. And so if you get a chance, pull it up on YouTube or whatever, but it's hilarious. And it's like, it's basically that it started as him and his buddy were like in college, and they would go to like the Jack in the Box at night, and they would do voices into when they were ordering and stuff. And he started doing like this Buffalo Bob or whatever, right? Or is Bob, right?
Buffalo Bill,
Bill, yeah.
The Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
Buffalo Bill. Yeah. There was all right. So there's a comedian, a comedic group called Pinkerton Bowden, which is funny that I even like did that, but that's what it is. A song called, was it Buffalo Bill or Buffalo Bob? And that's why I have a hard time with those two names. But anyway, so that's what so Buffalo Bill. So they started doing that voice from Silence of the Lambs, and then they developed that was the inspiration. That voice is what led into, they tweaked it and became where it became Chris and stuff. So it's just funny that it started there and then it became Chris. And so anyway, you'll have to pull it up. And especially if you're a Family Guy fan, like it's pretty hilarious. And I just love that stuff too. Like I love voiceover work and how they,
for sure,
how they came about creating these characters and coming to life like that.
Yeah, I've always wanted to do a voiceover work for like a cartoon and stuff. And I've done like motivational speaking and stuff like that. And I've done like a little bit of like just reading stuff like off of, for like a radio commercial or video or like doing stuff like that. But I've always wanted to do cartoon work. I think that would be so much fun.
Yeah. Yeah. I watch a lot of those like online, like just, of course, like, all the guys, all of them that work at like SpongeBob and, just whatever, all the different, all the actors and stuff that, I'm blanking on a bunch of their names now, but
John DiMaggio is a big one.
Yeah.
But he does like the voice of Jake from Adventure Time, and he's in SpongeBob and does a bunch of cartoons. Yeah.
What's Tom Kenny is SpongeBob, right?
Yeah.
And he does all kinds of voices and, but yeah, anyway, just all those like, but yeah. So anyway, it's just interesting how they find those different voices and they're able to like go right into characters and, just, I don't know. It's fascinating to me.
Hell yeah.
But,
yeah, me too.
Yeah. Well, right on, man. Well, Wes, this has been a lot of fun getting to hang with you tonight, buddy.
Yeah, you too, brother.
So if you aren't following along, you can find, you can find Wes Hoffman on Instagram. I guess that's the main.
That's my main thing. Yeah. At Wesley Hoffman on Instagram. And
again, find that pre-save link for which I got my pre-saved already, so I'm ready to go.
Oh, thank you, dude.
Man. And we got keep an eye out. I guess do we have a official YouTube account also for the video?
Yeah, if you just look up Wes Hoffman on YouTube, that'll be where it'll come up as well.
Yeah.
So,
well, right on, man. I'll link it all. Whenever this episode goes out too, I'll make sure to tag everything for you so you can find it all conveniently there. I can't wait to hear what do you have up to next, man. Like I said, hear some more new tunes you and Gabe cooked up in the studio.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'll send you the other one that we did after we get back here, and so you can take a listen to it.
All right, thank you. Yeah, man. Well, right on, Wes. Thanks for doing this, buddy. It's been a lot of fun catching up with you tonight.
Yeah, thank you, man. And again, thank you for having me, but also just thank you for doing what you do and keep it going, man. You're doing the Lord's work here. I appreciate that. Yeah, man. Well, that's what keeps me going. I love it too. So I really have a great time getting to hang with all you people, all the different musicians around town. So it's a lot of fun. Awesome, man.
Right on, buddy. Well, thanks. And I'll see you soon, my friend.
All right, man. Have a good one, brother. See ya.
See ya.